A couple things I want to start with. Number one, if you watched Indiana play Cleveland last night, this is exactly what the Knicks need to do. You need to try to go and steal one and do it quickly. It looked like Cleveland was a little bit off, especially late in the game. But for those of us who remember what Indiana did to the Knicks last year, we've seen this story.
Yeah.
We know that they can play. We know that they can hang with teams. It's just that, now have they learned how to hit the key shots and get the key rebounds at the key time. And they did last night. And interestingly enough, I'm watching side by side on YouTube TV that and the Winnipeg Jets and St. Louis Blues and that damn hockey game. Winnipeg scores with 2 seconds left to go into third period in the entire game, and they score a goal to tie it. And they scored 2 goals under 3 minutes with the goal he pulled. To tie the game, and then they go on, and of course, I'm an idiot. I got to sit up and watch this thing.
Yeah, you are.
And they go into second overtime, and they end up winning the game. And it was a game with 5 minutes to go in the game. They had no shot whatsoever. It was one of the most incredible things I'd ever seen. Especially, everybody in the fan base. Was dead. Like they weren't really into the game, and that was because the Blues had played a really great game for two and 3/4 periods. And then all of a sudden, the onslaught came. It's got to be amazing up there, just like it is in Indiana this morning. Like Indiana went out there and actually controlled the Cavaliers, especially in the fourth quarter, especially under 5 minutes.
Yeah, you're talking miracles. You're talking about crazy things happening in the playoffs, and that's what it feels like you're going to have to get for the Knicks to win this series, because there isn't a person on the planet that doesn't wear a Knicks uniform or is on that coaching staff that feels great about them winning this series. And that's what it feels like it takes. Now, I like the comparison between the Cavs and the Pacers, because the Cavs are on such a roll. They have the best team in the regular season in the East, and then all of a sudden now they get smacked around at home by the Pacers, and it's a reality check. Wouldn't you love to see that in this series? Wouldn't you love the New York Knicks to go up and take one from the Boston Celtics to make it feel like they'll actually be in the series? Because if they don't, if they end up losing by 15 tonight, and this looks like one of the regular season games, then I feel like getting swept is on the table. That's why I really need to see what they have. At this point, it feels feels like Celtics in 5. I think that's what the consensus seems to be, is a Celtics in 5 spot. I feel totally differently about that if the Knicks come out and win this game like the Pacers did. They're massive, massive underdogs, and I didn't love what we saw in the Pistons series, but hell, it's sports, right, man? There's miracles.
Well, we're
sitting here talking 6 o'clock in the morning on a Monday, the Winnipeg Jets and the St. Louis Blues, for God's sakes. Miracles can happen in sports.
I will say this, though. The Pacers did play well against Boston and Cleveland during the regular season.
Unlike the Knicks.
I think they had 5 wins against those two teams, and either 4 or 5 wins. And so they are not intimidated at all by playing any of these teams. And, the Knicks, it's interesting. Like you say, the Knicks Celtics in 5. No matter where you look, I don't care whether it's Stephen A., and his bombastic nature, or any basketball insider. Nobody's
picking the Knicks.
Is giving the Knicks a chance. I haven't seen one person predict an upset. And if I were in the realm of like NBA, analysts and stuff, I would basically just pick the Knicks, because if they win, they win, and everybody's going to think you know what the hell you're doing. If they lose, nobody's going to care, because everybody thought that they were going to lose.
Well, in this particular instance, you are in the NBA analyst realm. So are you picking the Knicks?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, okay.
I don't know why.
Knicks in 6, Knicks in 7.
You know what? The difference maker is going to be Precious Achua.
Oh, you think he's going to get some minutes, huh?
I hope he does. But look, this is what we've all been waiting for. This is, all right, they get through Detroit. It wasn't that easy. It was physical. They got a couple days off. That's great. What I don't want to see, and this is where Tibbs comes in tonight, I just don't want to see Boston getting on one of those 3-point heater runs that they've been known for.
Yeah, of course.
And this
it could come from any one of their guys.
That's the amazing thing. And, they take pride in beating the Knicks. See, does Cleveland really care about beating Indiana? Of course they do, but, is it a real hardcore rivalry that goes back 50 years? No. This one is. The Celtics and the Knicks, and the Celtics have all the championship banners to point to as to the basically dominant over the Knicks. And I think there's a sense for the Celtics, at least my sense is, that they love beating the Knicks. Like, they're not going to take anybody for granted.
Yeah, I mean, it was almost, and they said that they brought their A game, and they find another gear is what multiple Celtics players said the last time that they beat the Knicks in the regular season. And it might have something to do with the fact that they won the championship last year. Then remember the whole Jason Tatum not playing in the Olympics thing? That put a chip on their shoulder. And then guess who was talked about more than anybody?
Jalen Brunson.
In the offseason.
Oh, Karl Anthony Towns.
Well, it was the Knicks. They made the big trade. Here they come. This is the team. Watch out, Boston Celtics. So they're probably like, what? Everybody shut up. Like, we got the best players. You're sitting me in the Olympics. This is what Tatum's probably thinking. Oh, so what? They got Karl Anthony Towns. Doesn't mean a thing to me. And then on top of that, the Cavaliers have a better regular season record than them. So they're going to come into this series looking for something to prove. And it's amazing that the defending champs are going to have a chip on their shoulder, but they are.
And they're playing their heated rival that they have dominated over the years, and that there's something to it. Now, if I were the Knicks and the players, and I were the coaching staff and everything else, I would try to use this as fuel for my fire.
Yeah.
And I'd want to shock the world. I mean, you have to think that way. You have to think that you're going to shock the world. And I guess, from listening to the Knicks players over the last couple of days in their interviews, they're all saying the right thing.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not they're going to be able to pull it off, man, this is like an 85, 15, 90 to 10 long shot. And if somebody gets hurt in this series for the Celtics, then things may change.
Yeah, of course. I mean, and that's something that you can't predict. You don't want to look forward to or forecast. But I just want to see if the odds had gone up or down since we took a look at it on Friday. The Knicks they were plus 660 to win the series, and the Celtics were minus 1,000, meaning that if you wanted to win $100 on the Celtics winning the series, you'd have to put up $1,000 to win that particular bet. And for the Knicks, if you put up 100, you'd win $660 if you won. So
well, I mean, it is exactly that feel. It has that underdog feel to it. But there's a reason why, that they play the game.
Oh, here we go.
I've told you this a million times.
Yep.
And if you are the Knicks, it's got to be, one quarter or one possession, one quarter, one half, one game. That's it.
That's right.
You just gotta lock in, and you just gotta keep. And Thibodeau's got to keep them from, the 18-3 run, 15-2 run. Somehow he's got to stem that, and he's got to use his timeouts, I think, judiciously. I think that's a big part of this.
It's gone down a little bit. So the Celtics are now minus 850 as opposed to minus 1,000, and the Knicks are plus 590 as opposed to 660. So it's got some Knicks fans in there. They're like, you know what? Screw it. I got to throw some money on this.
Why not? I mean, see what happens. You never know.
Why not? And maybe you got some people after watching last night's game. They're like, oh, maybe the Knicks do the same thing.
I'm always like, why can't our team do that? Why can't our team upset, and have it be a monumental upset? That's what this would be. It would be. I mean, you got the best teams in the league that have all gone on, except maybe Houston, who loses last night to Golden State in Game 7. But, pretty much, Denver turned their season around after they fired Mike Malone. They wipe out the Clippers, and, James Harden gets to go home more early again.
Oh, yeah. He, on purpose.
And by the way, here's the thing that, if you really want to get ticked off at James Harden, I don't really care because he's not here anymore. Mm-hmm. But the thing about him is when he loses, he skirts out of the locker room.
Oh, he can't wait to get out of it.
He doesn't talk to anybody.
Well, he's done.
Talk to the media. Every game that he lost in this series, they lost. I don't think he was available or made himself available to the press. That's BS, man.
He is a piece of work.
The NBA should fine his ass as much as they possibly can, because maybe it doesn't matter to him because he's made so much money over the years. But he has a responsibility as an NBA player, with the fans paying as much money as they pay to go see these games, and how invested the fan bases are for all of these teams. You have a responsibility to go out there and talk. It may not be what you want to do. You may say something stupid. You may be annoyed by some of the questions, But as a professional athlete in this country, that is your responsibility. Your responsibility is to stand up there and talk and give your honest opinion as to what you think happened or what you can do better next year so it doesn't happen again.
Guy's been a jerk his entire career. You know, Eddie gets all fired up for Yankees Elimination Day. The only person that's happier about Elimination Day is James Harden and his own Elimination Day. He can't wait to get out of there. He start his off season. It's his favorite day of the year is when his season ends. So we said it when they won a Game 6, and I was like, wow, this is unbelievable that James Harden actually won an elimination game. But I said bet all his unders in Game 7 because he does not want to go to the second round. And he didn't. I mean, I really, like, I'm half kidding and I'm half serious that I think he does not. He gets to a point where he doesn't want to play anymore. And he's like, I think this is fine. I'm going to stink today, and then I'm going to go home because the offseason is more fun to me than playing in the playoffs.
So we're in our 7th year together, right?
This is what we've completed 7. We're in our 8th year.
Oh, we're in our 8th year. Wow.
Yeah,
God.
we've completed
Dang, that is
7.
fast.
Yeah.
And I think from the day that you sat in that chair,
mm-hmm.
and this is before he got to Brooklyn and before he got to Philadelphia and before all this other crap that's been going on in his career, he was in Houston.
Yeah.
You were basically saying the same thing when we first started here, and I was a little bit shocked by it, to be honest. But you've been saying it for the last 8 years.
And here we go again.
Same exact thing in regards to that player.
Yep, and he did it again. I mean, and now you can't deny it at this point. I mean, everybody knows it was a trend, and now it's just a fact that this guy doesn't want to play. So, you know, and it's really, he is everything that you love about sports and like an athlete. Like pick someone, I don't know, like a Pete Alonso. You absolutely love the guy. A Francisco Lindor, you know, he wants to win.
And
he's
Aaron
a leader.
Judge.
Aaron Judge. Everything that you love about
Jalen Brunson,
those guys, James Harden is the antithesis of. He doesn't care about winning or losing. He doesn't care about the fans. He cares about nothing but partying in the offseason. So, and you know what? He's earned that right because he's getting hundreds of millions of dollars, and he could do whatever he wants with it. So, and that's what he wants to do with it. But if you're a general manager throughout the years and you brought him in to win, you're a complete idiot.
I was watching it's one of the announcers that I guess on TV out there that covers the Clippers.
Yeah.
Just absolutely eviscerate James Harden.
Yeah, and he
eviscerates him.
Doesn't even get to him, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's been hearing this for years, and it doesn't even bother him. I mean, the only time that he got upset or showed any emotion in his career was when Daryl Morey didn't give him that extension that he was going to promise him, and he had to force his way out of Philadelphia because he wanted to get paid. That was it. That's the only time you ever heard from him. And then also when he faked being out of shape in Houston to get to Brooklyn, and he put on a fat suit. And then all of a sudden he shows up in Brooklyn in shape 1 day later. Anyway, he stinks. The Knicks don't have players like that. Thank goodness. And it all starts tonight, and we're looking for superstar performances night in and night out from Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, and everybody else on this roster. It's going to take a miracle. I really do feel that way. I don't think that is something that is over the top. They haven't been able to beat this team. They're not as good as they are.
Do you think, this is a situation where Karl Anthony Towns is better than Al Horford?
Yeah, Al Horford. Right, yes.
But Al Horford is, what, 38 years old now?
He is, yeah. He's been in the league for a long time.
So, I mean, that has got to be a place. And I know Horford does a lot of different things for the Celtics. Like, he knows his role better than anybody.
Yeah.
It's kind of like why you would bring P.J. Tucker here, just to, have a presence in the locker room and maybe give him 5 or 10 minutes, although Horford plays more than that. But if there is a distinct advantage, I would think on the offensive end, even though Horford is, he's 38 years old. I mean, this is where Karl Anthony Towns has got to dominate in this series. He can't have a 10-point game and expect to win.
No, that's not going to happen against the Boston Celtics unless someone else goes off for 40 other than Jalen Brunson. Like Jalen Brunson has 35 and then OG has 45 or something. That's the only way that Karl Anthony Towns scores 10 points and the Knicks win a game in a series.
Yeah, I was thinking about this. You think it would have been better had the Knicks played the Cleveland Cavaliers here in this series?
No, I don't know. I don't know if there's that much of a difference. We'll see what happens with the Pacers in this series, but
they are annoying, by the way.
The Pacers?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I know. And then Halliburton's feeding into that whole overrated thing. as his peers voted him the most overrated.
Yeah, I know that. Good for him, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I would do.
Yeah,
Wouldn't you do
overrate
that?
this, he said. Overrate that. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely fuel for him. That would be great. I mean, you would sign for it, even though the Pacers gave the Knicks fits last year, and they would have come through this series. All of us would accept a Pacers-Knicks Eastern Conference Finals if that ever happened. That's what you're looking for. Feels unlikely, but we'll see what happens tonight.